Hey, it's SickBoy from the Gaming Anarchic Collective, and welcome to the Anarchic Eye for November the 22nd, 2013. Well, there's been an absolute nightmare over at Twitch the last couple of days, and it now appears to be resolved. This all comes down to the use of copyrighted emoticons. And this came down to moderator Horror was going in and he pulled 3 emoticons from a stream, saying that they were all unlicensed usage. Turns out 2 of them were unlicensed, 1 was actually a Creative Commons. But anyway, this situation just blew up big time, and it led to a lot of Twitch users either sending grief his way or labelling their stream remove horror, things like that, and they basically were sick of this guy's heavy-handed attitude. He then went on the ban hammer and IP blocked and banned so many Twitch accounts, it was getting to the point where it was absolutely ridiculous. Yesterday things were just mad. Anyway, as it stands, today, early this morning, the actual management at Twitch have issued a statement and they posted it on Reddit. They explained the full situation, and they've explained that some of the moderators that were getting involved were actually unpaid moderators. They were just people who just come along and moderate just as a little freebie. And they've also claimed that Horror is actually going to step down as a moderator. He's presumably going to still be working for Twitch, but he's no longer going to be moderating content. They apologised for being overly heavy, however they reinforced the fact that they considered some of the behaviour to be harassment. From what I saw, a lot of the stuff that was being banned was not harassment, but I'm sure some of it was harassment. There were people who were getting IP banned for putting remove horror in the title of their streams. That's just ridiculous. He was clearly too close to the situation, and that's what happened. So it appears now that things have calmed down on Twitch. The management have apologised. All the mitigating circumstances they've given, and they've admitted fault where they see there's fault. The full thing's going to be in the description, and along with the comments. It was an absolute palaver and just an internal PR disaster in the Twitch community. For such a growing community, it was a big kick in their own arse, and hopefully they will learn and be a lot more mature and measured in the way that they deal with copyright claims over things as piffling as emoticons. Well, entirely unsurprisingly, as I mentioned yesterday, it has now broken that there are definitely cases of malfunctioning Xbox Ones. No shit. We knew this was going to come, and the troll back and forth has been going on all week since the PlayStation 4 failures, and now it's going to be happening with the PlayStation 1. Guys, fact of the matter is, wait for the facts to come out. If you want to gloat that your machine of choice has got a better failure rate than another one, at least wait till some data's available. But as of right now, it means that there are people who bought Xboxes and people who bought PlayStations who are rightfully gypped out of their money because the machine is broken out of the box. With regards to the Xbox One fault, by the way, it appears to be a couple of things, but most predominantly the disk drive. There's a situation where people have been sliding in the disc, it's not feeding the disc in, and it's just juddering and chunking and making a really loud juddering noise and not taking the disc in. So that's the problem. So if you haven't experienced that, then that's the terminal issue. There's also been some cases with the power supply, but as I said with the PlayStation 4, this is what happens when you early adopt. You will take this risk. If you're going to buy a console day one, you will risk it as an unknown quantity. You don't know how good the machine is. That is why I would urge you, unless you really, really couldn't live with that, you didn't say all your consoles and your PC are broken, you had no way to play, means to play games, it makes sense to be an early adopter. If you've got plenty of money, it makes sense to be an early adopter. If you are sinking money that you can't really afford into a brand new console, wait a little while. In about 12 months to 18 months, they're going to upgrade the hardware anyway. There'll be an updated version of both consoles. That is an absolute guarantee. Considering the amount of the last generation, the amount of different editions that they were bringing out. Even if you consider just look at the Xbox in this case, because this is about the Xbox One. You had the original Xbox, you had multiple different types, the arcade up to the Elite, I believe it was, and then they restructured it, and then there were still different sizes of hard drives. There were somewhere in the region of about 7 different SKUs of 360. So there you go. I mean, that's from 2005 to 2013. So almost every year they were bringing out a new model. So bear that in mind. If you're going to be an early adopter, make sure that you can afford it or that you've got a value for it. Say you're using it, you want to stream next-gen content. I said you have no consoles, you're looking to buy your first, or your other one's broken, you're looking to upgrade. That makes sense. But be very cautious before you start throwing your money at an unknown quantity, and wait until you see really what is the best deal for you, what policies are better for you, what PR works best for your interests, and what is giving you the better experience as a gamer. Okay, possibly one of the funniest release day fuck-ups for a title I've seen in quite some time. FIFA 14, the Xbox One port that EA made. If you boot the game with more than one controller turned on, the game crashes. It's fucking brilliant. FIFA, like EA Sports, you have been making FIFA games for so long, so fucking long. It's been a multi-controller game for so long, and you didn't QA test what happens when the maximum number of controllers are turned on at boot. Jesus, where are your QA people? This is fucking hilarious. So they've come out and said they will try and patch it, but in the meantime, shut off all other controllers apart from the one, then boot the game, then get past the boot menu, and then when you're in the main menu, then you can turn your other controllers on. Fucking hell, EA, that is absolutely hilarious. How did you fuck that up? That's absolutely fucking priceless. Well, I've got to say, I think DICE have screwed the pooch here. They have been interviewed with regard to the future of the Bad Company franchise. They have said that although they enjoyed it, and they thought it was great, and they think the Bad Company themselves are great characters, and they really enjoyed making it, they feel that the mass market audience aren't interested in the humour. The humour is too personal, and it is too interesting to just a niche audience, and they want to broaden the appeal as much as possible. So, in order to do that, they are going to take out their artistic vision, ignore what they want, which is to make an entertaining, enjoyable game, and make it as hard-boiled and dull as humanly possible, because they've said that's what some of their fans wanted. They had vocal complaints saying that they don't care about the wit or the humour in Bad Company, and they just wanted a hard-boiled military shooter. And so they want to give them that. So, there we go. Mass market appeal, that's what they've said. They want, they said we could have a really excited niche audience, or we could go for mass market appeal. Cheers, DICE. You've just really tipped the balance as to whether I was absolutely sure or not that you guys weren't absolute douches. Now, I know EA are pulling your lead on this, but fucking hell. If you want to consider video games as art, and you want to be creating something that you consider to be art, at least create something to your vision, not whatever is going to sell most, and that is serious, charmless, first-person shooter. Get a grip, make what you want to make. I would personally rather see a Bad Company 3 than a Battlefield 5. That's just me. Anyway, guys, leave your comments in here, what you actually think. If you were, ignore that, if you're boycotting EA like I am, ignore that aspect and just say, what would you prefer? Battlefield 3, between Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2. Ignore the increase in the tech, ignore the Frostbite engine. Would you like to see a Battlefield, Bad Company game, let's see, a Bad Company game in the Frostbite engine, next-gen game, huge multiplayer maps, everything, and the same style of campaign? Would you like to see that, or is actually what the masses want, a cold, clinical, serious campaign, because that's what the people want to see? Or do you want to see that? Am I in a minority? And are the developers at DICE in a minority for saying that that's actually what they'd like to see and what they'd like to put on the market, but everybody hates it? What do you think? Well, Sony are making, in my opinion, a good call in the UK. In time for Christmas, they've claimed that they are going to release a PlayStation 4 and Vita bundle mega pack to be going together, because they have designed that they've said the Vita is going to be an integral peripheral when it comes to the PlayStation 4. And it is one thing that it can differentiate itself from its competition, the Xbox One. Now, the Wii is somewhat now off on its own with regards to the console war. It's now pretty much mostly first-person titles and exclusive third parties. Really, the multi-plats aren't so much touching the Wii U, and to be honest, they're not putting the effort into them anyway. So if you're a Wii U user, why would you touch it? Why would you bother touching a half-assed port on your system when there are things like Pikmin, like Mario, like Smash Brothers, that are actually worth playing. But I digress. This could actually make it somewhat of a bridge and make it more akin to the Wii U. The good thing about the Wii U, if you like the control pad, some people don't like the control pad, I think it's quite funky. I wish it had a better battery life, but the idea that you can utilise a Vita, you potentially can utilise a Vita in place of the DualShock 4, it has the touchpad, it has the buttons, it can literally be a replacement controller with a screen and also allow you to stream your PlayStation 4 games. Remember that Sony did make every third-party developer promise to make their games compatible with the Vita for streaming. This is where Sony really should be when they want to place their product. They've got their market idea in place, they should be following it through. They should be going for that. Take a machine, throw in an Nvidia Shield with it essentially, and sell it as a high-def gaming experience plus remote play. That is something that the Xbox hasn't got. The Xbox is going for the multimedia, all-in-one television hub angle. Find your niche. So I'm glad to see they're bundling the Vita together, but the Vita isn't selling very well internationally. Certainly not against the 3DS. The 3DS is destroying it in sales. So I would like to see Sony repurpose the Vita much more and focus it as part of the PlayStation 4. Make it a killer app to go with the machine. You know, in the way that no one really wants the Kinect, but the Kinect is meant to be the killer app. I know the PlayStation 4 has a camera, but make the Vita your differentiator. Do that. Hell, sell it for a lot cheaper. Really, do it at a loss. Get the Vitas out there, because that's how you're going to keep people going. That's how you're going to hit also the kid market there. Remote play is more attractive to younger gamers. They often don't have their own television. They often want to be on the move. Every kid. If you're a parent and don't want to give your child a mobile phone, giving them a gaming device that you can send them messages on through Wi-Fi or anything is a good idea. So I really think Sony should embrace that. And it's a shame it's only in the UK. I think a lot of people in the US would be interested if there was a decent price, certainly if there was a discount involved, having a PlayStation 4 Vita bundle. When it was all go today, Matt Lees from Videogamer.com made a video with regards to Microsoft's choice of YouTuber KSI as an ambassador. Now, for those of you who don't know who KSI is, he is a popular YouTuber. He's got about 4 million subscribers, so he is a big boy. Okay, he is a FIFA player. He has got a lot of kids who are fans. He's got a lot of rabid fans. He is well loved by the kids, and he entertains them, as is the large YouTubers tend to be. They tend to be children's entertainers, and that's what he is. He is not the most PG children's entertainer, let's put it that way. He is most renowned for the rape face photo, that is taking a photo of looking like you're about to rape somebody, and also he was banned from Eurogamer for, I originally thought it was just for asking somebody if he could motorboat them, which is where you put your face between their breasts and go brrr, and that's, if it's consensual, it can be entertaining. However, he was going around and asking some really inappropriate questions of women and filming it, making them very uncomfortable, and that led to complaints and caused him to be banned from the Expo. Now, he was an ambassador for the Xbox One launch last night. He was on stage promoting the event, and he was also on children's television today in the UK. He was on children's television because he's becoming somewhat of a real, genuine celebrity. Now, Mike Lees made a video saying that he was an inappropriate ambassador for Microsoft, and that corporate branding people should be aware of who they're using for promotions, and that their corporate branding should be aligning themselves with people who are appropriate to their demographic. You know, you wouldn't get the comedian Doug Stanhope doing adverts for Kraft squirty cheese. You just wouldn't. It wouldn't be the demographic they're looking for. However, if Jaeger were looking for an advertisement, they were looking for an advertise for them, damn right they'd offer Doug Stanhope some money. So that's kind of how these things work. And he's only made a video about it, and it included a couple of clips of KSI and a couple of photos, a couple of his rape face photos. And he pulled a copyright claim, which is a false copyright claim, really, on the grounds that it was a critique. It was fair use for critiquing purposes, and he called it it was copyright infringement. So they pulled the video. Now that means that videogamer.com's YouTube page potentially will not make any ad revenue for the next 6 months. So it's a pretty dick move to pull on a company for criticising you. And so they put up another video, again the same video, but they removed the images, saying that this one would be copyright safe, and republished it. It was going everywhere. All over Twitter when it was happening, lots of developers, lots of YouTubers, Total Biscuit got involved, Mike Bithell, the creator of Thomas Was Alone, was heavily involved. People were tweeting it everywhere, I was retweeting it, everybody was retweeting it. And it clearly got to the right people. Because just as I was going to talk about the situation has now been resolved. Because Microsoft have made a public statement saying that they didn't realise his reputation. Well, the actual people, they didn't know of his reputation until literally the last minute before he was due to go out. I'm going to call bullshit on that. They knew exactly who they were hiring. They wanted the kids. They wanted the kids to think the Xbox is the cool console because KSI is down with it. Okay, so they then said they're no longer going to work with him. They're no longer going to work with him. They refuse to deal with him with promotions ever again. So that's him off their books. And frankly, I'm glad. Not even because of, if we ignore his behaviour at Eurogamer a year or so ago, which is the fact that he was criticised and it was fairly polite. I think he referred to him as a twat at some point, and in the video. And however, he went completely overboard and pulled a complete 1984 and tried to censor their video. Now, he hasn't referred to it on his Twitter at all, so that just goes to show really kind of what a slimy individual he is. Now, you have to kind of question, if you think that's unfair, I'm just going to relay a story that Mr. Sam shared with me earlier on. When he was in his hometown, he was in Belfast in the KFC, and there was a competition that KSI was running where people would scream "Welcome to Beast" as loud as humanly possible to be as obnoxious as they could. Anyway, in came some kids of around 12 years old. They were being really unpleasant, they were being really dickish. People then asked them to leave in the store. They then started screaming "Welcome to Beast" and smashed the windows of the KFC. Now, I'm not saying KSI is responsible for their actions. They are, and their parents are. However, this is what you need to bear in mind, that when you're picking an ambassador, you're picking someone who is essentially getting impressionable kids to act like cocks for his own entertainment, because they enjoy acting like dicks. Let's face it, kids that age do not want to be mature on the whole. There are some that are, for the most part, they want to dick about. And he chimes into that. He's in his early 20s, and that's what he does. He encourages people to act like dicks. And kids have been acting like dicks, as evidenced by that. So I think Microsoft personally made the good call. If they want to make serious adult PR, because they're Microsoft for fuck's sake, I have never worked in a company that didn't run Windows. Not one. Every single one of them, pretty much. A couple companies have used Lotus Notes, but almost every single company I've ever worked with have used Outlook. They all use Word, Excel and PowerPoint. They would be absolutely suicidal to align themselves with somebody who encourages children to be antisocial and acts the fool. So, whether you like KSI or not, you can't really defend the fact that he is not an ambassador for a multi-billion-dollar company. And frankly, I'm glad Microsoft made the right call to refuse to work with him in the future. If you're going to deal with celebrities, deal with legit celebrities without dodgy backgrounds. Well, it's somewhat of an end of an era bit of news to finish today. John Carmack, one of the fathers of the FPS, has left id Software. He's gone. He is now full-time with Oculus, working on the Oculus Rift. Now, those of you who aren't aware of John Carmack's work, he was one of the people behind Doom and Quake, so he is one of the godfathers of FPS. And he has now stepped down from id Software. He is no longer going to be working with him in any capacity, and he's going to focus his attention with regards to Oculus, dealing with tech. He's going to deal with the Oculus Rift. Another interesting thing that is worth mentioning is he's claimed that it's unlikely that the Oculus Rift will be coming to the PlayStation 4. Now, that doesn't really seem to me like a big blow to PlayStation fans, on the grounds that Sony are working on their own peripheral, all-encompassing headset, which they painted and I remarked on recently. So that's going to be full-on glasses, surround sound. So we'll see where it goes with that. But there we go, somewhat at the end of an era. Bit of a shame in regards to it's change, and change sometimes is a bit weird. And for me, as long as I can remember, really, pretty much as long as I've been aware of a name in gaming, I knew about John Carmack. As a kid playing Doom on a floppy disk, I knew who John Carmack was. So it's kind of weird to see him leave the company that he's been with since the 90s and has now moved on to focus entirely on the hardware. Weird. All change in the world. Anyway, guys, you've been looking through the 2020 vision of the Anarchic Eye. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll catch you guys later.